Okay, we are live. Let's let it breathe just for a brief moment and see if Facebook's going to go ahead and be good and cooperate with us on this fine day. Hope everybody's doing well on this Thursday ahead of Labor Day weekend. Welcome in, everybody. It is the Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, today, the Broncos, we heard from Sean Payton. We heard from George Payton first. Then we heard from Sean Payton. Did anything jump out to you today, Zack, specifically in George Payton's kind of post-roster press conference?
The only major takeaway that wasn't just GM speak, cliches, was his take on the roster and how strong it is and how deep it is. And he was asked if they feel like it's a playoff caliber roster, and he basically was point blank and said, "We have the quarterback. We feel like we have a franchise quarterback. We have a really strong defense. We have all the pieces in place." And he's right. They took a good team that won 10 games, went to the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, and got better from there on both sides of the ball. So that was my takeaway, Chad. This team genuinely, from the front office down, feels like they're going to be able to compete deep into January.
I love this line on, hey, GM George Payton, is this a playoff caliber roster? Quote, we like our roster. We like the depth of this roster. I think you could see that depth throughout the preseason. We extended leads with our second and third phase. How talented this roster is, we'll see. Last year, we were the 31st roster in the league, and we didn't believe that, the rankings and stuff. We have a strong roster, and obviously that's day to day, that's week to week. We feel we're strong in the trenches. We feel like we have a franchise quarterback. Love hearing that from the general manager.
Yep.
Last thing, we like the weapons we have on offense, and we play really good defense. That's a recipe to win a lot of games, so we feel good about this roster, close quote.
And it's just not Sean Payton. It's just not Bo Nix and not the players that hear what the analysts are saying, Chad, the experts are saying, and all the bad mouthing and all the narratives. George Payton hears it too, and the rankings got to him, and he made it a point to improve on them. Glad he did.
Some hellos real quick. Mike Thompson, what's up, buddy? What do you guys think of this new font? Should we go back to the other font? I don't know. I just kind of felt like mixing it up. I did this on Broncos Book Club, and I kind of like the way it looks. Mike, a member, says, hey, friends, going to get a Talanoa Hufanga jersey. Which color would you suggest? Man, that's tough. That's tough. I would probably myself go with the, what is it, Zach? Midnight blue, whatever.
Yeah.
The blue one.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, I'm sorry. If I was springing right now for a jersey that I'm going to rock on game day, say, I'm getting a Hufanga in the vintage orange or whatever. What do they call it, Zach? The 78 orange.
Yeah, I was going to say the throwback looks good for any situation with any player. If I had a second choice, it would be the white. I think it would just look clean with his number and the type of player that he is. You really can't go wrong. The jerseys, Chad, they have grown on me. I will say that.
Yeah, there's a few of the combinations I don't love, but overall, I like them. I think it's a good step in the direction of the 21st century, mixing things up a little and having multiple combinations. String Guy, great member. Roger saying, good evening, Chad, Zach, Scott, and Broncos country. With the Micah Parsons trade to the Packers, blockbuster, for 2 first-round picks and $47 million per year. Can we afford to keep Nick Bonito if he wants close to that contract? Zach, what are your thoughts? Because there have been, even today, George Payton fielded a question that was posed or postured around, hey, were you guys waiting to see the Parsons situation kind of resolve before getting things going? Or how much does that situation impact what you're doing now with Nick Bonito?
Well, the Broncos will be able to afford Bonito because I don't think he's going to get anywhere near what Micah Parsons got, Chad, because he's not the player yet that Micah Parsons is, either accomplished or maybe in terms of sheer talent. Nick Bonito is a great player, but Micah Parsons is on a different level. I mean, you're talking about franchise quarterback money. Bonito wanted, I think, 25, the neighborhood about. That's more in the Bonito range that I would do. And we've been urging, at least I have, Chad, for a while now, the sooner you pay him, the better off you'll be in the long term, because the price tag for edge rushers will only keep going up.
If it climbs to upwards of $50 million, I'm sorry, I love Nick Bonito. He's not worth that yet. And I struggle, Zach, to even justify that for any edge rusher. I mean, Von Miller in his prime, 50 million. Oof, that's tough. Now, I'm not saying no. I'm saying I struggle to justify. MBLEX gifting a Mile High Huddle membership, dude.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for doing that, big dog. You are a prince. We appreciate you. Don't worry, Brad. We're going to grab you in order. Ronk, Bossman Jay. And let's start with Sam Bam, though. Sam says, evening, guys. Well,
Thank you, Sam.
so much for hoping the Broncos would trade for Micah Parsons for a 2038 seventh round pick, and so much for my chances with Taylor Swift. Exactly. Anyhow, I like the 53-man roster and practice squad. Go Broncos, 11-6. You know, I know Sam's obviously joking here. That's a tongue-in-cheek post, but I, for one, Zach, didn't really have any interest whatsoever other than the just general what's going to happen in the NFL interest in the Parsons situation. Yeah. Like, I know some fans, they see a premium name and they go, ooh, Broncos, this, they want to connect it kind of like Madden-esque, right? Like build the ultimate team. But I could not really have cared less about what happened with Micah Parsons, with the exception, Zach, of the impact it may have on the Nick Bonito negotiations, because if he does try to push even well beyond 25, I'm not sure the Broncos extend him. They might not extend him, tag him in the spring, depending on how well he does this season, and just kind of play it by ear.
Yeah, in terms of the NFL side of it, I agree with you 100%. I love the bombshell trades, and it certainly was a bombshell. I care about the Parsons trade also to the extent of how it's going to impact the Broncos. The Broncos do play the Packers, so the Broncos will have to face Micah Parsons. Other than that, though, I think the Cowboys lost the deal for what that's worth.
Bossman Jay, I just want to, what I'm about to say to you, I want you to understand it with the utmost kindness in terms of what I'm saying and the tone in which I'm delivering it. Yes, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being a supporter and a member on YouTube. I saw that you signed up the other night, but we cannot promote other podcasts, even from the great members of our community. Like, once in a blue moon, a shout out. So I want you to consider this your one and only shout out. Like, the limit is maxed. And I don't want you to take that as like, we don't appreciate you, but what you're saying is, hey, everyone that's listening to this show, come listen to my show. Hey, if they find you on their own, by all means, okay? I'm just saying, I don't want to break your heart, but this is it, okay? So don't even do it again. Don't even flash it again. Here you go. Love this show from Bossman Jay. Thank you for the super chat. And again, Big Dog, thank you for being a member, and we wish you the best with your podcast. Honestly, Zach, we've had a lot of people in our community over the years, go on to start their own podcasts and rock and roll. And we love seeing that. We're very proud of that, but we can't promote other podcasts on our show. Okay. So without going any further into that, he says, Broncos country, please check out Broncos Unchained podcast. The rise begins. Thank you. There you go. Bossman Jay. I'm reading that and flashing it on the screen. I hope you know, out of genuine goodwill, okay, and appreciation. So thank you for that super chat, Big Dog. The Ronk checking in. Good to see you, my brother. Good evening, Chad and Zach, on the Mile High Huddle podcast. Go Bo Broncos. Got to chat with Mike earlier on Broncos book club. It was fun. Had a good time. Many chapters were covered. It was fun. Brad jumping in with a very generous super chat.
Thank you, Brad. Wow.
Top rope saying, I have a buddy telling me that we will go 7-10. I've tried to explain what Bo did last year with no run game, no tight end, and him being a rookie. We have only gotten better, but yeah, sure, 7-10. He's a Steelers fan. LOL. Hashtag Zach, let's freaking go Broncos. Your thoughts for Brad?
Listen, the Steelers could have the initial edge up in the conversation because they beat the Broncos head-to-head last year. In terms of overall projection, though, I'm a Mike Tomlin fan, but Aaron Rodgers ain't it. And I think the Broncos have the better quarterback. They have the better long-term trajectory. So I think they just need to let it play out and let facts speak for themselves over the course of the season.
Well, and also, I got to tell you, with a very few exceptions, most Steelers fans I know are generally insufferable. Like, they're pretty obnoxious. Let's just put it that way. And
very tribalistic.
Yes, very. And, tribalism is part of being a fan and all that stuff. That goes with the territory, but sometimes it gets a little out there. But the Broncos, even if, hey, he's a Steelers fan, congratulations. But Sean Payton 7-10 with a significantly better roster and an even more seasoned quarterback, struggle to see it, man. And the schedule might be, Zach, this year a little bit tougher than last year, but not that much tougher.
I almost want to pull the Sean Payton line. The next time I finish with fewer wins, or in this case 7 wins, will be the first for me, and barring injury. And I'm literally knocking wood as I do that. That's the only way, Chad. The only way. And I was thinking about this yesterday. I think it was the only way the Broncos have a downturn this season. They don't win fewer than 10 games and match what they did last year is because of a major injury. It's the only way. So tell them to kick rocks.
The Duchess jumping in. We love you, Michaela. It's great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michaela.
For the generous super chat. Guys, we got things. This is the end of the month, but the season is starting, of course, next weekend, but next week we'll say. And so we're getting things rolling again with the jersey raffles, and that's going to be starting again September 1. And the way it works, we take the top 10 finishers each month on Super Chat. Name goes in a hat. You guys know how it goes. But if you're new, there have been a lot, like 10,000 new subs this offseason. So there's some people that might not know this, but name goes in a hat. We do a live random raffle, and the winner gets a Broncos jersey of their choice. They let us know what jersey it is, and we get it shipped to them. And Michaela has won a few. Let's put it that way. And she's also, Zach, won a few and then bequeathed them to other people in the community because she's just that type of person. But this was just an opportunity for me that reminded me to remind you guys. We're kicking that off again next month in September. So Michaela says, what about the Parsons trade? Jerry is out of his mind. Pay Benito. So, Zach, you, for a time, spent, I don't know, a year or two on the Cowboys beat, simultaneously as you were covering the Broncos. Seeing it from the fan in Dallas's perspective, what are your thoughts here for Michaela?
I chose to forget that. It sounds like a fever dream at this point in my life, Chad. But I was going to say exactly the same thing. This is how Jerry Jones operates. First of all, as always, thank you so much, Michaela, for your generosity. But this is how he operates because he's the owner and GM. He's consolidated so much power, but he's so out of touch. He doesn't play the power, the players, his stars. He drags out the negotiations and drags it out and lets the market go up and up and up. And the comparable players end up getting paid around. It happened to Dak Prescott. It happened to Zeke Elliott. It happened to DeMarcus Lawrence. Now it happened to Micah Parsons. They should have paid Parsons a year ago or whenever he was first eligible. And now you trade him away, your best player by far, and you don't even get a requisite haul, in my opinion. That's Jerry for you, though.
Yeah. There was once upon a time when, was it, I think it was during the Jerry Jones era. Hey, Scott, you're going to remember this. Wasn't the Herschel Walker trade the very early goings of the Jerry Jones regime, right? So there was once a time, my point here, that, he bent the Minnesota Vikings over a barrel and went on to win multiple Super Bowls as a result of the literal draft haul that he extracted. Perhaps not so in this case, guys. But Michaela, love you, appreciate you. Let's grab Gene William, and then we have a matter of business to take care of. Who wants to know, very pressing matter. Don't blame you, my brother. Says, what's up, man? How are we? We're good. We're good. Do we think the Marvin Mims injury will have a big effect on the receiver room? And Zach, I'll let you answer this for our close buddy here, Gene, who we're really looking forward to hanging out with in October at the meet and greet with his old man, Ralph, and Jimmy as well will be there, I'm sure. But with the knowledge, I'm going to serve this over to you that Coach Paton said today, you had the story. He'll be back to practice on Monday.
Yeah, Gene, and for anyone who was unaware, Mims left practice yesterday with a groin, and the reporting was that the Broncos were not overly concerned. Sean Payton did not speak yesterday. Sean Payton spoke today and said that Mims will practice on Monday as the Broncos ready for week 1 against the Titans. So he avoided major injury. Like Sean Payton said, Chad, it could have been worse, all things considered. Even if he was out, though, they have other players that could step up. I've written about that extensively, Gene. If Mims were to get re-injured or suffer a setback or whatever, Troy Franklin is the instant ready option there because they have other options in the passing game, even with Mims healthy. Evan Ingram, you have Cortland Sutton, of course, and also the running back. So even with Mims there, Chad, how the pecking order gets divvied up, that remains muddled to me.
We shall see, but it's going to be a lot of fun to see how it unfolds. and lots more on this subject and others, guys. We got a lot more to get to, including multiple comments and questions. And I see the members have some really good conversations cooking. But first, guys, look, the football season, it is upon us once again. Thank the football gods. And Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog, guys, it's super easy. You just pick your favorite player, Bo Nix, for example, Cortland Sutton. Will they go higher or lower on a given stat, like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, sacks, stuff like that, and more? Simple.
That's right. Get your picks right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. So if you think you've got a beat on what Bo Nix's or any Broncos player are going to be in week 1, download Underdog and win some money.
It's fun. I have a great time. Plus the opportunity to win money while watching football. I mean, it's a touchdown. It's a win. It's a win-win. Download the Underdog app today. Sign up with our promo code that you see on screen there, MHuddle, to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans, guys, have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog.
Be 18 plus,
make the picks
19 plus.
and win money.
Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Must be 18.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Producer, and thank you, Underdog. This is interesting here, Zach. From Adam Schefter, Scott dug this up. Micah Parsons. This is a Broncos podcast, but this is for fun. Micah Parsons is one of 29 first-round picks in the common draft era who was selected to the Pro Bowl in each of his first 4 seasons. He now will become the only one to play for a different team in his 5th season, Zach.
Jerry Jones. Should have paid him a long time ago and he wouldn't have this problem. Simple as that.
Oh, that cracks me up, dude.
The
Jerry
fish
Jones.
rots at the head, Chad.
True. Ralph, my brother, says, I took Franklin in the 10th round of my fantasy draft last night. What are your predictions for him the first quarter of the season? Zach, you're the fantasy guy amongst the two of us here, but give some thoughts here for Ralph.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for the MHH fantasy draft on Saturday night. Franklin, as you know, Ralph, we don't know exactly how this Broncos passing game is going to look. I mentioned it a minute ago. Even with Mims fully healthy, they're going to spread the ball around. It's a spread the wealth kind of operation in Denver with Sean Payton. You have Cortland Sutton, and then you have Pat Bryant also in the mix. Trent Sherfield was making plays, but the running backs are going to catch a bunch of passes. You have to get Evan Ingram involved. I would not look for Franklin to, given his current role and placement on the team, Ralph, to be a fantasy starter for you, but certainly keep him on your bench for the time being.
We shall see. I'm excited about Franklin, though. I mean, as far as how it relates to the Broncos and the offense, like, Zach, I think my hope for Marvin Mims translating that momentum he had the second half of the season into a fast start this year, I think I'm putting just a little bit of the brakes on that, and I'm translating it over instead to I'm converting it. I'm tossing it to Troy Franklin. I think Franklin is going to be that guy everyone's talking about at the quarter mark here of the season. Don't worry. I mean, Cortland Sutton's going to get his. So is Evan Ingram, but that next guy people are going to be buzzing about, Franklin. He'll have games, Zach, where it might be 3-4 catches is all, but 89 and a touchdown or 95 and 2 touchdowns, etc. Like, he's going to have some big chunk plays that Sean Payton is going to dial up for him this year is my bet.
That's what I was going to say. For the time being, he might be more useful in real life than he is for fantasy football, because if he goes weeks with not producing or having a catch and no fantasy points, he's too volatile, Ralph, to be your starter. I think at best for the first half of the season, the highest case scenario is that he could be a flex starter. But even then, I think he's going to be a bench guy to keep around.
Real quick, I'm coming right back to you, Pro 16. I just caught this and it made me laugh. Mike, hey, Scott, you're old. Do you remember? Well, I'm old too, if you must know. Like, Scott and I, we're only a few years apart. Like, 50 is not too far off for me, believe it or not. sad as that may sound, and it may be. Roy, glad to hear you'll be there at the meet and greet, dude. Can't wait to meet you. It's going to be fun. We'll hang out. Pro 16, one of our great members, says Sean Payton picked up another project tight end in Patrick Murtaugh from the Jags to the practice squad. He is a specimen, another Aussie. That's right. Not to be confused with Ozzy Osbourne, more like Aussie. But yes, Zach, what did you make of, I know I had the article for us, but what did you make of the Broncos using the international player pool, whatever it's called, program, to have that 17th spot, that additional exemption on the practice squad? So they're carrying 17 because he's Australian born, comes from the IPP program.
Yeah, not only do they love Australians, they love Australian tight ends. Like they love Thomas Yasmin in the same spot last year, Chad. And how did that work out? I don't know. I don't want to read too much into it. It's a 17th practice squad spot. It's a literal dart throw. But I don't know how much it says about Caleb Lohner either. That would be my boldest takeaway.
This is one of the coolest things. So 21, this year was the 21st out of the preceding 22 that an undrafted rookie made the roster, the initial roster out of camp. And the guy who did it this year was Karine Reed, the linebacker. So, yeah, they talked a little bit about that this week. They have why Karine made the team instead of, say, Zach Lavelle Bailey, and really what it boiled down to. I'll give you the Cliff Notes takeaway. They thought there was a better chance of sneaking Bailey through waivers and onto the practice squad than Reed. That's really the bottom line. So, George Paton, even today, Zach, didn't want to make it sound like it was somehow Reed versus Bailey or anything like that, but it was what's the best way to do this so that we can keep them both and not risk upsetting the apple cart.
I also read that special teams was a big deciding factor, and Reed stood out on that side of the ball more so than Bailey did. And it was surprising to me. That was the only surprise of the 53-man roster cuts, Chad, was Bailey. But I could see now in hindsight why Reed made it over him.
Yeah. So Boss Man says, I think Nick Bonito will stay around the $25 million range. He wants to stay in Denver and will want a Super Bowl team more than a Joe Burrow deal. I think that's what it'll end up being, Zach, somewhere around $25 million. We'll see, but at the same time, Zach, there's a reason why they were kind of waiting on this Parsons domino to fall. So how much, exactly what aspects of it are going to affect negotiations, time will tell.
Well, number one, I'm sure he does want a Joe Burrow deal, a Micah Parsons deal. I want a Micah Parsons deal. Doesn't mean Chad's going to cut me that check. It doesn't mean Nick Bonito is going to get it either. He can want it, but I think, like I said earlier, and you're right, boss man, 25 is more his range for that type of player. He's really good. He's just not Micah Parsons. 25, I'm open to, Chad. I'll even go, a few million higher, but I'm not even approaching anywhere near 35 or 44. Not right now.
Albert, dude, the Mile High Dutchie in the house saying this is going to be a very exciting year for Bronco fans and a sad one for Chiefs fans. Hey, good to see you. Amen to that, big dog. Hope you and the missus are doing well. Hey, Conga Hydra, this may be true. He says Karine. I thought it was Kareen.
Oh, we're not doing this again.
Pretty sure. There's that additional syllable at the end. But Michaela jumping back in on Super Chat. The Duchess. She says, I am Jerry Jones. I'm smarter than you. LOL. Seriously, I hope that the trade and the new contract does not hurt our chances for a Bonito extension. Broncos, Packers, Super Bowl. How sick would that be, dude? To repeat Super Bowl 32. Different kind of, the stakes would be the same, but kind of different circumstances, I guess, because the Packers in 97 were the defending world champs. The Broncos had never won anything, and they were quarterbacked by a long-time veteran. And Favre at the time was pretty tenured vet himself, but still way younger than Elway. But that would be sick.
Yeah, thank you, Michaela, again. And I'm not going to dive too much into the psychology, but let's think about Jerry Jones for a second, Chad. He's a billionaire and has been for quite a while. He's owned an NFL team for quite a while. He's been so powerful for so long. That's why he has that attitude. He's not the only one in that in that space, in that realm that feels that way. But it's not 1995 anymore, and that's how he governs. It's 2025, and the times have changed, and he hasn't caught up. And you're right. It's a lot of ego and pride, but it's come at the cost of his team.
Scott's making me chuckle in the side chat there, Zach. But well said, brother. And thank you again, Michaela. Really appreciate you so much. Looking forward to hanging out in I don't know, a couple months' time, not even 2 months' time. That's right, Ron. The Duchess of the MHH podcast. Okay, a few other interesting things, Zach, that George Paton said. I mean, Sean Payton had some interesting things to say too, which one of them real quick is that two rookies, one made the roster, one didn't. Both of them are draft picks, had shown significant progress over the last 10 days of training camp. One of them, Savion Jones, the interior defensive lineman, and then Caleb Lohner was one of the others, Zach. So also clearly Sean Payton still in his corner, still can't have the name mentioned without a Jimmy Graham comparison, etc. But your thoughts on Lohner?
Again, like I said, with the addition of Murtaugh or whatever his name is, Chad, I don't know what that says about him. The fact that he didn't make the 53, which we all expected, and it's not a strong position by any means for the Broncos, but then you're going to add an extra practice spot on a international tight end of all positions. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know. I do hope for Lohner's success. I mean, I don't know that it'll ever be anywhere near. And I said this on KK, Kelberman's Corner. If he's Jimmy Graham, he made the best pick of all time, the luckiest pick of all time. If he's half of Jimmy Graham, he made an amazing pick. But if he's nowhere near Jimmy Graham, if he busts, then he's a seventh rounder, Chad. Then you didn't really lose much anyway. I do hope he develops. And fortunately, they have a rock solid starting option in place.
Look, I don't want this to sound rude or the fans to think I'm like hating on Lohner, but Sean Payton today, he's like, look, there's a large learning curve. He's getting it. He's getting better and he's improving. You have to remember, he's 2,847 snaps behind everybody else. And so the first thought when I heard him say that, I was like, well, then why'd you draft him, dude? You know what I mean? Like, if he's that far behind, why did you draft him? But that's being a little bit harsh. And I think, I think it stems a little bit, probably, if I'm being honest, from my own disappointment that Lohner didn't take to the coaching as quickly as I would have preferred, didn't make the initial 53, etc. But I'm still very intrigued by him. His 6'7", 250 with that athletic profile. Man, if he does really kind of get things and turns a corner and things start to click, think of all the ways that Sean Payton and Bo Nix could utilize him in the offense, especially in the red zone. Remember, red zone champion in his 57 snaps at Utah, 4 receptions for his whole career. All of them were touchdowns.
But didn't Sean Payton, before roster cuts, say about Lohner, we have to go, it's time to
Let's
go,
get going.
we have to get ready? I mean, he keeps giving him these, warning signs like, you're going to run out of time if you don't catch up. And I know he doesn't have much experience, but he's competing with NFL players and other tight ends, Chad, that look the part. Like Priestcorn, he looked a billion times the tight end that Lohner did, and I understand why. My last point on this, though, and we're talking about Jerry Jones and knowing better, there's some Jerry Jones to Sean Payton in that he thinks he can get the most out of every player. He thinks he is the smartest guy in the room. He thinks he can salvage anyone. Tried that with Russell Wilson, tried that with Zach Wilson, tried it with Sam Ehlinger. He's mostly had success, but he'll always feel that way, and sometimes, in a small sense, it could be a detriment.
Well said. Doc James E in the house, one of our great superstars and a great dear member of the channel. He's jumping in on Super Chat. Thank you, brother. He says, so weird, but do you really think Jerry Jones is smart or just oil rich? I hope the Benito signing comes with a Super Bowl win as well. What do you think of this new tight end signed to the practice squad? Love you all, Denver Broncos for life. We love you too, big dog. And for what it's worth, Murtaugh, we don't really know anything about him other than, he was a pretty young, but successful in the Australian rules football before he decided, you know what, I'm going to put in for the NFL International Player Portal. That got him to the States. He competed well enough in their little combine thing to initially sign with the Detroit Lions. This was in 2023. He had an undisclosed medical condition. They ended up cutting him. He sat out for a while, Zach. Then he signed with the Jaguars, couldn't crack the roster, and here we are. So that's all we really know about him. He's 6'6". He's big, looks the part. He's only basically looks like Loner 1 inch shorter. So, but Zach, on the subject here of Jerry Jones, like your thoughts here for Doc Jamesy.
Number one, you don't get to be that rich without being at least a little smart or cutthroat or, to get your way and to work your way up that ladder, which is it's dog eat dog. And you have to have some sort of intelligence. And Jerry Jones does. And he did. The Cowboys were a dynasty at one point. It's not 1995 anymore, though. It's 30 years later, or however many years it is now. And he hasn't caught up to that. But I forgot who he bought them from. He turned a small investment in the Cowboys into a multi-billion-dollar operation that's known around the world. It might be the most recognizable sports symbol on the planet. Jerry Jones is in a marketing sense and then also in a general managing sense in the past, very intelligent. Just nowadays, very stubborn. And I don't mean to sound pudding, but I think his age has something to do with that, Chad.
Well, and let's be honest. As you said, there's something there. There's a reason why he got rich and rich enough to buy the Cowboys, and former football player himself, all that good stuff. But as soon as Jimmy Johnson walked out the door, they still had some success after that, but it was built, Zach, on the fumes of the engine that Johnson had built. And once the last vestiges of that had died off, and I'm talking the Aikmans and the Emmets and the Irvins and all that, what have the Cowboys done since then? I mean, even like the Broncos, what is it, 95, the last time that the Cowboys defeated the Denver Broncos? And, anyway, we're spending a lot of time on Dallas today for obvious reasons. They just traded Micah Parsons to the Packers, but there you have it. How much of it affects Nick Bonito, the situation, time will tell. But I don't think it's anything to get too worried about for what it's worth. Taylor jumping in, great superstar and a dear member, saying Broncos let Courtney Jackson, Zach, slip through their hands. Go Broncos.
Yeah, Taylor, thank you. And I'm sure you saw this on KK the other day, and we haven't talked about it since. I will say this about Jackson, a couple thoughts. I understand why the Broncos did not keep him. They didn't want to keep 6 receivers, and they were just so loaded. And I'm happy that he landed on his feet. He joined the Seahawks practice squad. I just hate the fact that he landed on his feet in Seattle, sort of an NFC nemesis, a thorn in the side of the Broncos. I wish him well, and it's bittersweet because if he does well, Chad, it means the Broncos shouldn't have let him get away. But right now I understand why the Broncos did move on. You can't keep everyone.
Great to see you, Taylor. Thank you for the super chat, big dog. Okay, some other interesting things, Zach, that were said today by GM. We would play you the clip, guys, but it was an audio thing. So what he said about, let me start with Audric Estime. Quote, on why they waived him, all that. Quote, I'm a big fan of Audric. I thought he had some moments last season. Again, remember, this is George Paton. We drafted Audric. He was 20 years old. You don't see that very often. We knew he'd take some development, and he did develop. I liked the way he finished against New Orleans. Bottom line, we were just able to keep 4 running backs. It's hard to keep more than that. We just wish him the best. He's going to be a really good pro. I think he's with the Eagles. And again, we just wish him the best. So that's kind of all she wrote for the Estime subject relative to George Paton.
Yeah, it's basically a numbers game. It's to an extent the same thing that happened to Courtney Jackson, except that Jackson earned his way, Chad. If it was any other circumstance, if the Broncos were lighter or if they were a lesser team, they would have kept Courtney Jackson. They needed his talent. They didn't need Audric Estime, who finished below 3 yards a carry in 2 preseason games. Every other running back was making plays and standing out, literally every single one, except Audric Estime. Too little, too late.
Yeah, and that's really the bottom line. Too little, too late, and he had his chance. He had a long ramp up. He knew the stakes. But the other interesting thing that I want to talk about here from Paton today on John Franklin Myers, another contract year guy. Quote, John is a really good player. Big bonus that we were able to get John last year. Like a number of our other players in the final year of their deals, we'd like to have them all back. John's no different. We have a number of players, and it's a puzzle, kind of like your roster management, like the 53-man roster. So we're working through a lot of that now. We're excited to have John Franklin Myers. We're excited to have Luke Wattengberg and a lot of these guys in the last year of their deals, close quote. So, Zach, other than the kind of coach / GM speak of, we'd like to keep them all, not much to really take away there, in all honesty.
Well, there's one thing. It's the fact that they have other free agents, too, set to hit the market next year. He mentioned specifically Wattengberg, of all people. We know about JFM, but Wattengberg, starting center, I get that. But that means he's genuinely maybe a little more cemented in his role than we thought.
Oh, yeah. I don't quite understand it, but clearly the Broncos love Wattengberg. Like, they view him as a set and forget. As long as he's a Bronco, that's our starter guy. I don't quite get it, but they love him. They love him. And it's not that he's bad. When I say I don't quite get it, I'm not saying like, oh, he sucks, he doesn't deserve it. But I still am not sure I've seen enough from him that like really qualifies him for that. Like even Quinn Minor, Zach, getting the All-Pro and getting his extension even, right? Like you looked at that guy and go, yeah, for sure. He belongs as a starter, unquestioned, etc. I don't know. I just don't see it yet with Wattengberg, but I hope to this year because he's got a big second contract on the table at stake. Timmy, what's up, dude? Great to see you, brother. Thank you for being a member. Shout out to you. $5 super chat said, just sending some love. MHH for life. Dude, Timmy, you're awesome. Thank you so much for all the support, man, in multiple ways. Appreciate you, Timmy.
And what did I just say about Sean Payton too, Chad? That he wants to be the one to fix a player. He wants to be the one to get a credit for building up a player. I can't tell you how many times we've gone through our quotes that we've gotten from the team, the transcriptions from the press conferences, and Sean Payton talks about a player that he coached up in New Orleans, that he built up, that became a star under his watch. Wattengberg would qualify for that. He's a middle round pick, a guy who kind of was cast aside as a backup, and Sean Payton was the one to turn him into a starter. I think he loves that. He gets off on that.
Doc saying, I hope we can sign JFM, but we can get a center better than Wattengberg, right? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think so, even if it's in the draft. Lady D from the tippity tip top row.
Deanna being Deanna. Thank you.
She was in the Broncos book club. And by the way, I was showing off something really cool. How many of you, now that we're in the public domain, here, 1 second. I'm just taking you off the screen for a second, Lady D. But when Elway got into the Hall of Fame, 2004. This is the John Elway Journey to the Hall of Fame. It's like a Sports Illustrated kind of magazine. It was published at the time by the Post News community. So that was like a combination of the community programs of the Denver Post and at the time, Rocky Mountain News. This thing is so cool. I got to find more, though. I'm looking for more editions of this because we want to do it for Broncos Book Club. Just like it's sick, dude. Essays by Douglas S. Looney, Carl Mecklenburg, Gary Miller, Rick Riley, Mike Shanahan, Larry Zimmer. Really cool. Now back to the Lady D. She says, hello, Chad, Zach, Scott, and everyone else. I just don't want Benito to get mad and go somewhere else. Just pay him. Again, in my opinion, Loner, to me, my opinion, shouldn't have been brought back. Do you think it was a mistake in choosing Loner over Jackson? Hashtag MHH for life. Love that, Lady D. Well, for what it's worth, and then I'm going to serve this over to my part here. I don't think it was a Loner over Jackson thing because of the positional difference, so to speak. But they obviously valued him more than Jackson, Zach, for whatever reason.
Well, it's not just that. It's more a matter of Nate Adkins over Courtney Jackson because they kept an injured tight end on the 53, and they didn't keep another receiver. So Chad's right about the positional difference, but the thing about Benito, too, and thank you so much, Lady D, before we move off of this, we have another one, 20 memberships you gifted. That's incredible. You've done that a few times now. A Deanna bomb into the chat. Thank you. The thing with Benito, I think, Chad, for the most part, you and I agree that the Broncos should ultimately, if it came down to pay him or not pay him, pay him. The only pause that I can see is because you have Jonah Ellis, you have Dondre Tillman, and you have Q Robinson, and they all looked really good this summer. So the three of them, I think, equal one Nick Benito, and maybe the Broncos figure they don't have to splurge just yet.
Very true. Deanna, appreciate you. All the ways that you help us keep the lights on and support others in the community and in the chat. youarethebomb.com. Thank you, my friend. Like Ronk's saying here, Lady D is the queen of the Mile Huddle podcast. I meant every word. Yeah, really cool. Thank you again, Lady D. Ralph jumping in again to say we won't re-sign JFM. I actually agree with you. I don't think the Broncos will end up bringing him back, but he could have a massive year, and the Broncos brass will treat him like a girlfriend that gave you a little something. I predicted tomorrow we are talking about Benito's signing. So Ralph's big, bold prediction, Zach, a Benito deal on a Friday heading into a 3-day weekend. You see it?
That would be, the Friday news dump about, 5 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Mountain.
Usually, Zach, that's the kind of thing when you talk about, it is a thing, the Friday news dump. That's when you're trying to kind of sneak something under the radar.
Maybe they're paying him Micah Parsons money. They want to sneak that under the radar now. It could happen for sure. And also it could happen. I heard rumblings about sometime around Labor Day because the Broncos will get back to practice on Monday for their week 1 game against Tennessee. So there's rumblings that it could be coming, but they've also preached patience as well.
We'll see. Keith, good to see you, big dog. Chad and Zach, truly a couple of OGs in my opinion. What is your preseason ranking of the Denver Broncos offense? Ooh, it's hard to say. I don't want to lie and pretend like I watched all the other games. I didn't. I mean, I watched a few highlights here and there, but like I'm so on everyday Broncos. But do you have an answer here for Keith on preseason ranking of the Broncos offense?
I would say conservatively.
I guess what he's saying, it has nothing to do with the preseason. What he's saying is now that the preseason is in the books, before the season has started, now where do you rank the Broncos offense? Is it because remember they did finish scoring anyways, barely top 10 last year, but they did finish top 10.
Yeah, as a whole, I'm taking into consideration the new blocking schemes, Chad, the rushing issues, the protection issues. I'm not freaking out about preseason by any means. I would put them conservatively anywhere from like 12 to 15 right now with the opportunity to be in the top 10, maybe even top 6. So I'll say like 14, 12 or 14, that range.
It's looking really good. I don't want to crown them too much yet. I don't want to like set the bar so high that it's like impossible for this still very young
that's
team
like the floor.
to live up to, right? Like I still feel like they're in good shape though to once again field a top 10 and a top 10 defense and offense. Could it push Zach top 5 and top 5? Yes. I think the defense with a little luck by way of the injury bug, if they get that luck, and maybe even if they don't, in Penn, in Sharpie, top 5. The offense, once again, Zach, it all comes back to Bo Nix. How big of a year 2 jump does he actually take? I'm optimistic still. I'm very bullish on Bo, even though it wasn't exactly a tour de force in the preseason, but who cares? It's the preseason. It's relatively meaningless as it applies to the actual starters.
Yeah, right now I don't think that's an easier question to answer in terms of defense. I don't think there's a better defense because there wasn't last season and they got so much better this offseason, Keith. I think the Broncos preseason defensive ranking is number 1. Right now, that's how they're starting, in my opinion. I'd say somewhere right outside the top 10, 12 or so with the, ask me this question 3-4 months from now, they could definitely be in the top 5 if things really pan out.
Amy, shouts to you. We see you in the chat almost every night. Great to have you on Facebook. I want to invite you. Come on over to YouTube and become a member with us if it's in the cards for you. Joe also on Facebook saying, great to see everyone on MHH. I saw a clip today with Drew Brees and Rich Eisen. It was pretty good. Had some good insights. I saw that clip by way of a thumbnail as well today, Zach. I haven't clicked on it yet. I haven't seen what Brees said, but it was something to the effect of the headline anyway on the Eisen show. Sean Payton's got his guy in Drew Brees. Sean Payton's got his guy in Bo Nix.
Yeah, I haven't seen the clip. It's relevant considering it's Drew Brees and he would know. But I want to see it. I'm kind of tired of hearing about it now, Chad, between Sean Payton and the Broncos and also analysts and outside players. And I just want to see it in actuality play out on the field.
No doubt. We're getting to that point where the prove it time is there, right? We're only 10 days away.
Longest offseason ever, man.
It has, dude, seriously. There are a lot of factors behind why, but I agree with you. Easily the longest offseason in the history of MHH anyway. And I've been doing this since, 2012? And there were some good teams in that first little window of existence that I was doing this, right? The Peyton Manning years. So like you're really, when the season ended, anticipating, you guys know this, looking forward to the next one. You can't wait. None of those off seasons hold a candle to this one though, in terms of how just long, pedantic, and like, I don't know what it is. Maybe Zach, it has something to do. This is a theory of mine, with how much we suffered for 8 years, how bad it was. Then you got something good and then it's over. Maybe that plays a part in why this offseason has felt so long. I'm not sure, but it most certainly has.
I mean, one reason for sure is that, off camera, the stuff we talk about, Chad, business wise, that played a part as well. And
Yep.
it's the expectations, I think, were hurting the fan base because, like you said, it was very anticlimactic the way they lost that Buffalo game. They finally made a 10-win season. They get there and they get blown out. I did have another point. I totally forgot it. When it comes to me, I'll bring it up.
Hit it. Okay. All right. Cody, jumping in, a great member, a long-time Super Chat superstar here at MHH. And I'm glad that you went in and changed your @ handle now that that's what's displaying on these cards when we show them. It says teams got to come out strong. Anything coming from Titans camp they should be worried about. I was able to change the name finally. Glad to see it. What is it, Scott? The Broncos have at 8.5 points are the biggest favorites in the NFL week 1. What do you make of that, Zach?
As they should be. The NFL Media Roundtable predicted the game yesterday because it's that time of year again, and clean sweep for the Broncos. And it was mostly a decisive Broncos victory. I'm even, I saw like a score prediction 28-17, something like that. I would be kind of dismayed if the Titans were able to score 17 points on this vaunted Broncos defense. I don't, anything can happen any given Sunday, but it's a rookie quarterback. They're coming to Denver. The Broncos have, playoff expectations, really high playoff expectations. This game should be over if it was played on paper, Cody, by halftime. So we'll see how that happens in real life.
All right, guys, we got a few messages for you. Then we're going to check the chat one last time. So get any last burning questions, topics, supers in the chat. We'll take one last look before we dip.
Cannot believe it's going on 48 minutes. You guys make this the best podcast in the entire world. Another tremendous episode of the MHH podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle, Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out MHHmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important as always that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
The Ronk helping us punctuate this episode with a generous super chat. Also a great member. His family is the Ronk. And it's kind of cool if you guys didn't know that he's got a twin brother. Did you guys know that? Also with the same initials. Very interesting. Ronk jumping in to say, great show tonight, Chad and Zach on the Mile High Huddle podcast. Go Bo Broncos. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate you. Always great to have you. I want to give shouts to Pearl in the house. Great to see you tonight, my dear. And let's see. Go ahead, Zach.
I remember why the offseason feels so long, Chad. It finally came to me. It's because, and you can attest to this, for the first time in what felt like forever, literally, the Broncos had no ownership search, no GM search, no head coaching search, and no quarterback search. They were set and forget. That's
true.
That
definitely played a part, right? The news cycle, not only was it not as busy, but it wasn't as juicy.
Right.
That played a part, but it was just really weird, really weird. We've recounted it quite a lot, not only on this episode, but throughout this long-ass off season. So
glad I remember.
Hey, Ronk, dude, you don't have to do that, my brother. There have been, I don't know, in the history of MHH, something like 20, 25 max out supers. Michaela did one just the other day. Michaela has done several over the years, and she's a big reason why we're able to continue to have success on YouTube. People like you, Ronk, the Duchess, Lady D. I mean, everybody. Sam Bam that's in the house tonight. Papa Bear.
Everyone.
I don't think we saw
All of
Papa
them.
Bear tonight, but like, you know, it's the longest, worst off season in however long we can remember, and we grew by like 15,000 subs this off season, and with that kind of support that we get from people like you, brother, guess what? It wouldn't happen without the support. So thank you for that. And don't worry about doing a max out. It's all good, brother. Trust on that. So a shout out, though, to the great Super Chat superstars, supporters, members, helping us keep the lights on tonight's episode, like Michaela, like the Lady D,
Thank you,
also
Michaela.
throwing down, gifting 20 memberships to folks in the chat tonight. Like Brad, good to see B-Rad, the Ronk, MBLEX throwing down a gifted membership. Bossman J, Gene William in the hizzy, Ralph, Doc James E, love it. Taylor, Timmy, also in the house. Yeah, dude. Cody Dub, much love and respect, you guys. Now, real quick, we're off tomorrow. Dove Valley Deep Divers. There's still going to be no show Saturday. And just as a reminder, Broncos Book Club, not this Saturday. I did the makeup episode for that today. So no show on Saturday at all. Sunday, there'll be a show, of course, Monday night as well. And then we're in game week, dude. As of Sunday, technically, well, I guess as of Monday, Zach, we're in game week. So enjoy your, if we don't see you, enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Stay safe. If you're traveling, wear that seatbelt. Watch out for people on the road that are maybe having too much fun, if you know what I'm saying. And we'll see you soon.
Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you Sunday. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.